Good, happy Tuesday evening. I'm Riley King, and welcome to my 7 p.m. newscast right here on the Riley King Network. Let's get started. First up, man found guilty of killing girlfriend's 11-month-old son. Let's take a listen to this video from WMUR News 9, Mike Cronin.
We provide a service like few others across the United States.
Modified CEMS at Cheshire Medical Center.
We have the equipment and the training to handle life support missions.
We have the landing zone set up in the battlefield.
We take care of the most sick and most badly injured patients, and to be able to help those people on a daily basis is incredibly rewarding.
The details of this case were gruesome and difficult to listen to, and prosecutors say this conviction is still not justice for the victim. Tommy Page was found guilty of first-degree murder and falsifying evidence, but found not guilty of administering a controlled substance. In 2015, prosecutors say Page molested and killed 11-month-old Sean Sylvester when he was alone with him in Alexandria while the boy's mother was at a doctor's appointment. Sean was found unconscious in his crib by his mother later that day. He was flown to a hospital and died 2 days later. Page's defense had blamed Sean's mother for the boy's death. Prosecutors say the victim's family is still traumatized and that there's nothing they can do to change that.
It was a very difficult case for all those involved, and again, it's this verdict is a just verdict in terms of it's going to hold the person accountable, but it's not going to bring the victim back.
Page will be sentenced at a later date. Reporting live in the newsroom, Mike Cronin, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that report. SJC decides field sobriety test not scientific evidence for pot. Police officers looking for impaired drivers will need to operate under new limits imposed by a new ruling from Massachusetts' highest court. The Superior Judicial Court ruling published Tuesday concluded that field sobriety tests cannot be used to determine if a driver is intoxicated by marijuana. It does not affect the use of the test for drivers who may have been impaired by alcohol consumption. Possession and consumption of marijuana is legal for adults over the age of 21 in Massachusetts, but it is a criminal offense to drive while under the influence of the drug. This new ruling does not prevent officers from administering the roadside test to suspect high drivers, but does not limit the conclusion that can be presented to the court. As a result, officers will be allowed to testify about the driver's performance, but not whether they passed or failed the test. The ruling also imposed a similar limitation on any witness who have not been declared experts by a court. The justice wrote that the test, like the horizontal gaze, NASM test, the walk and turn test, and the one-leg stand test, were designed to detect alcohol impairment. Studies have had mixed results when applying the test to marijuana intoxication, the SJC wrote. The justice said there is currently no reliable scientific test for marijuana impairment. We're following some breaking news. Truck found in Androscoggin may solve New Hampshire cold case. New Hampshire State Police said a truck removed from the bottom of Androscoggin River Tuesday is a major break in decade-old case. New Hampshire State Police investigators confirmed a 1996 Ford Ranger discovered a few miles south of Errol Valley was the same vehicle driven by Tony Imod, who disappeared in Enroe, New Hampshire in July of 1998. Skeleton remains found inside the cab of the truck have been sent to the medical examiner's office for positive identification. July 1st, 1998 was the last day the 26-year-old Tony had been seen after attending a horse show tournament at Bill's Seafood. Witnesses reported seeing Tony leave the restaurant in his girlfriend's 1996 Ford Ranger truck. After several days not hearing from him, family and friends contacted New Hampshire State Police to file an official missing persons report. It was unknown at the time if Tony had traveled south on 16 or west on 26. For years, searches were conducted by air, ground, and by New Hampshire Fish and Game dive team in the areas along the Androscoggin River and Lake Gallatin, located in Dixville, New Hampshire. Earlier this month, Fish and Game divers continued their search to an area just south of Errol Village and used sonar image to search contents at the bottom of the river. One sonar image was consistent to a truck similar to the missing Ford Ranger. In fact, that would later be confirmed upon further analysis. Tuesday, recovery teams removed the truck from the river and notified Tony's family members of the discovery. Elizabeth Warren urges Fed to step up and remove Wells Fargo board. Senator Elizabeth Warren Tuesday again urged the Federal Reserve to remove Wells Fargo's board in response to the bank's fake account scandal. Maria may be the worst to hit Puerto Rico in century. As residents of Puerto Rico brace for Hurricane Maria, which slammed into the Caribbean as a Category 5 storm Monday night, Puerto Rico's governor is calling the storm the biggest and potential most catastrophic hurricane to hit Puerto Rico in a century. And that did it for my 7 p.m. newscast right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your Tuesday night. Good night, everyone. Bye.